Greetings, Judah. DFG at Gideon's Flight. Hey guys, two things I want to talk to you about, and I'm going to be real brief, or at least as brief as I can be. But, the Most High, Elohim, will communicate to any vessel that has a heart for him. Any vessel. Man, woman, child, animal. Yah is that resilient, that persistent, that unique, that he doesn't need us to bring forward the word. He said, I'll get the rocks. That's what Yeshua said. Yah will get the rocks to cry out and praise him if the people of Yah refuses to do so. He's talking about Israel when he's talking about the people. He's not talking about the Gentiles, the heathen nations. But this is something I wanted to bring forward that Yah put upon this vessel's heart. Because as I think and my mind continues to try to get more of an understanding, what are the right words to communicate the strangeness of the time that we're in. And in all of this strangeness that somehow Judah, Israel, throughout the whole nations, all over the world, has become the focus and the target of the vaccine. And I think that's important to call that out. And of course, we're being told because we're sick and we're the sickest of all the people of all the nations, wherever we are, that somehow or another the most perfect thing that Yah has made is somehow now, never before has this been called out globally, that we're the sickest. We're not the sickest when it comes down to athletics. We're not the sickest when it comes down to entertaining them, for dancing for them, singing for them. None of those things, our sickness come up in conversation. Have you noticed that? Never, ever. Whether it's football, basketball, soccer, tennis, whatever sport we're playing, whether it's singing or dancing or any kind of formality where physical fitness, gymnastics, aerobics, wherever we are, no one ever says, look how great these so sick people perform. But now, in 2020, with all of these signs and wonders that are coming from the heavens, everyone is concerned about us and our sickness. Is it because Yah has given us a sign, or Yah is giving us a sign? After all, let me get a little bit deeper in it. Passover. How many of you guys know the reason for Passover? And let me let some of you ignorant Christians know right quick. It's got nothing to do with no Easter and rabbits and bunnies and resurrection, in 3 days that you count for 2.5 days or 1.5 days. Died on Friday, rose on a Sunday. Okay? That's a heathen teaching that many of you Gentiles have created an abomination or a curse and negative judgment or the wrath of Yah in your families. And now you may be sick for that perpetuation of that lie. But Passover is totally different. Passover has nothing to do with a resurrection. Passover has to do with deliverance. Yes, let me say it again to you, my brothers and sisters. When Yah was finally ready to break the back of our oppressors, those who oppressed our people the first 400 years. When Yah was finally ready to break their backs, he gave us a sign. And he told us to be real careful. There were some things that we had to be aware of. There were some things that we had to execute. And there were some things that we had to do. Now, we all know we're ending the last 400 years of our oppression, right? 1619, 2019. We've all been talking about the 400 years for the last couple of years. And here it is, another Passover is happening. And Yah is warning us again to take heed and listen to the words of his prophets, his messengers. In other words, here's a new Passover. But not anew. Because as Solomon once said, there is nothing new under the sun. What was will become again. Or what was will be again. But here's something I want to share with you, my brothers and my sisters. When you look at statistics, right now, it's almost like 6 out of 10 of Judah is refusing to participate, in this, for lack of a word, bloodletting or blood injecting, chemical injecting, taking the what's the word, taking the hit, you know what I'm saying? 6 out of 10 are refusing to take the hit, so they're not going to do it under any circumstances. Here's my question to you. With that type of resistance, who's speaking to you, Judah? Judah, who's giving you the courage now to stand up and to say, no, I'm going to let this one pass over me? Let's say it again. No, I'm going to let this one pass over me. This time, we're going to politely excuse ourselves. We're going to let you go first, Egypt. Egypt, we're going to let you go first. And after you're finished, then, may Yah shine the light upon you so you clearly understand your wonderful decision to go first, okay? Excuse that noise, all right? May Yah reveal that to you. That's got nothing to do with those of us who follow the instructions of Yah. Now here, let me give you some meat here, guys. Just so you have some context in which I am sharing it. Because again, if it's 6 out of 10 people are saying no, this is not about fear. It's not about fear. Because it's very much be about wisdom. Yes, wisdom. And what does our book tell us wisdom come from? Wisdom comes from above. It's from the heavens. It's from Yah. As James said, if any man lacks wisdom, let him ask Yah, who will give to him gratefully. That's James chapter 1. But Proverbs also talks about where wisdom comes from. So is it wisdom now that has caused us to allow this Passover to happen? Well, let me share a story in your book for your remembrance, for your learning, for your teaching at the end of the next 400 years, or these last 400 years. Yah is the same yesterday, today, and forever. What he did in the past, he will do before. As he warned our people before their deliverance, he's warning our people again. Let me read to you how that warning went. Let's follow me if you like. Go to the book of Exodus. I want you to go to chapter 12. It's going to be fast, brothers and sisters. We're going to start reading at verse 13. First, matter of fact, go 12 and 12. For I will pass through the land of Egypt, so-called America, some people say, at night. And I will smite the firstborn of the land of Egypt, both man and beast. That means men, women, and children. And against all of the gods, that's all of their idolatrous holidays, all the idolatrous cultures, celebrations, all of their religions, etc. Their gods. He says, and I will be against all of the gods of Egypt, and I will execute judgment, for I am Elohim. And the blood shall be for you for a token upon the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you. In other words, he said, if you follow my directions, I'm going to give you the wisdom on what to do. And if you follow this, I'm going to pass over you. In other words, I am not going to let the same thing that's going to happen to Egypt happen to you. And the plague shall not be upon you. The plague. You hear this, brothers and sisters? The plague. You know what a plague is, right? The same thing as a disease. He says, or virus. He said, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite or destroy the land of Egypt. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and you shall keep it as a feast of Elohim throughout your generations. That means even till now. You shall keep it a feast by the ordinance forever. 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread. Even the first day you shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. In other words, that 6 out of 10, you're walking in wisdom. that 4 out of 10, that's 11. And what did he say was going to happen to those who did not put the 11 out of their house? He's going to cut them off. In other words, they're going to face the same consequences as Egypt. And the first day shall be a holy convocation, and the 7th day shall be a holy convocation to you. No matter work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only that it may be done. And you shall observe the feast of unleavened bread. And that selfsame day I have brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore you shall observe this day in your generations by the ordinance forever. And it goes on to spell it out clearly. Those Hebrew Israelites who followed that direction, that wisdom of Yah spared them and their families. Those that did not suffer the same consequences as the Egyptians when he destroyed all of them for the oppression and the abuse and the manipulation and the refusal to recompense Yah's people for all the damage that was done over all the generations, the 40 generations of their bondage. I'm sorry, the 10 generations of their bondage. He judged them for it. 40 times 10, 400 years. So again, here we are at the end of another 400 years. Here it is, a time again where Yah has given us instruction and said to do. And many of us are listening based off of their own statistics. These are, again, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a medical science. I'm not talking medicine here. This is a spiritual conversation between me and my fellow Israelites. I just want to make sure YouTube understand that clearly. This is not about medicine. This is about wisdom and decision making based off of the holy book. All right, our book, our history book. And we're only reading history and sharing history to teach and learn from our history, from our ancestors. That's all we're doing. But my brothers and sisters, Yah doesn't change. Yah doesn't change. So some of us are going to put that blood over our doorposts. And when that debt comes by, that debt's going to go right over us onto the places where there is no blood. Or in other words, where there was the blood of Yah or Yeshua does not lie. Because the blood of Yeshua does not lie in paganism, in abominations, into anything that's a filthy, of idolatry, occultic, etc. Especially when you come to Mizraim. Oh yeah, Egypt. Oh yeah, America. We don't partake in their wickedness. And when we have, Yah called us out. And as he's called us out, he's enlightening us, as Daniel said, in these last days, so that we might understand. But, as he said, the wise will understand. But some of the wicked going to keep on doing wicked. And that other 4 out of 10, they're going to do what they're going to do. And they have a right to do it. They don't have to listen to Yah. They can resist Yah as they have, and many of them always have, and many of them will until the end. But there's always going to be the righteous amongst the group. Those who love Yah, love the word, trust Yah, and know that Yah will protect them or put the blood over their doorpost so that they may clearly live and not die as the plagues encompass all of Egypt. Hope I said something to stir you up a little bit. And maybe for you believers, my fellow Hebrew Israelite sisters and brothers, maybe you pass this on to give us some context around Yah's behavior for the first 400 years before deliverance. We're coming at the end. This is the end, guys. It is ending. And Yah is not going to do anything different than he did the first time. Look at the different comparisons, guys. The similarities here. Wow. And I can say more, but it's not necessary. As one of my brothers said, you said enough. Just say it and say goodbye. So goodbye, Judah.